What is good, everybody? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside podcast, and we are back today. And we are reacting to the NFL trade deadline. And don't worry, we're going to get to the games, but breaking news, some trades have happened. Sauce Gardner traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Quinnen Williams traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Those are the big names, and we can get to the other names, but those are the big two blockbuster trades that have transpired in the past few hours. So, without further ado, I want to ask you, Brian, just let's get to your team real quick because, as we all know, Jerry Jones, he came out and he, just what was it? Was it yesterday or was it a couple of hours
It
ago?
was it was
But
yesterday.
okay, it was yesterday, but he said, "Hey, we made a trade," and people were like, "Okay, like where's the trade?" And people have been waiting, we're waiting, and now we're here. We thought maybe it was Logan Wilson that he's talking about. That was the big trade, but hey, he had other things in hand, and that was Quinnen Williams. He's going to the Dallas Cowboys. So, Brian, what is your reaction of the Cowboys making this move, and does this move the needle significantly for this team?
I'm gonna be honest, Aaron. So about that whole trade thing Jerry was talking about, what I heard was that they originally, I believe he said the trade was for Tyree Wilson, and that was pre-Cardinals game. In the Card, we all saw what happened in that Cardinals game. We're gonna get to that later, but I guess he must have saw that and was like, "Oh no, we got to do something bigger than this. This is ridiculous." And so the Logan Wilson trade, I'm gonna start there. Seventh round pick. I don't hate it. I mean, he's probably better than any linebacker we have on our team as it stands right now. At least he knows where the play is. So I'm not mad at it. It's really doesn't really cost much of anything. He's a veteran presence in the locker room. I don't hate the trade. I'm fine with it. But Quinny, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting like maybe a Bradley Chubb type thing or something small like that. Nothing crazy. Maybe a Minka Fitzpatrick. I was at work and I was, I'm doing my little editing thing on the computer. My coworker was like, "Yo, y'all traded for," he said Quinny Williams. I said, "Quinny Williams got traded?" He said, "Yeah, to the Cowboys." And I immediately got up and started clapping because that was the kind of splash that I was okay with giving up serious draft capital for. And the fact that it is the next year's first round pick and not this year's first round pick makes it even better in my opinion, because clearly they're trying to retool and go and actually try to be serious contenders next season, or at least much better than what they are right now. So it wouldn't make sense to give them this year's first, because as it stands right now, it's like pick 14. You gotta save that pick and get some guys in the draft. So I like the trade. Quinton Williams is a top 5 D tackle in the league, and we retooling the assets we got from the Michael Parsons trade already. So, hey man, I like the trade. He's now, this to me isn't a save the season trade. We're going to make a run. No, this is definitely a next year and year after that trade, because we control. He signed up until 2028, I believe. So we don't have to worry about it being a 1 year rental or nothing stupid like that. Also, same with Logan Wilson. I think it's Logan Wilson.
Logan
He signed
Wilson.
up until 28, I believe, as well. So I like the deals, Jerry. I don't know if someone hijacked the phones from you and made the deals, because I don't believe you made them at your old age and the way you be talking to media. But I like the trades. I Hopefully it works out. Quentin Williams is a great player. But the thing now, here's the thing we find ourselves in this for the Cowboys. We have 3D tackles that are starting caliber. So are we going to move to a 5-man front, or we going to someone going to have to hit that pine? Because in my opinion, Kenny and Osa has been underwhelming this year for what we thought they would be. Listen, it don't matter. Whoever get moved to the bench, get moved to the bench, or whatever. Matt Eberflus, if Matt Eberflus cannot produce at least something, like if the defense literally remains the same after this move, he has to get fired. He has to get fired immediately, because it is no way you trade for a guy like Quinnen Williams. You have all this talent, and you can't produce anything with it. I know the back end is god awful. I mean, it is bad. that back and had Marvin Harrison Jr. look like his pops out there. They were so bad. But you have to produce now. You have to at least show something. Because I gave you the personnel excuse because there's some regular weed out there on the field. But now you have a bona fide star in Quinnen Williams. You have to at least show me something. If you can't show me something, you got to hit the road.
You make a good point, and you could never have enough defensive guys like that, defensive tackles.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good move for the Cowboys. Who would you say is better? Who do you believe has been better this season, Kenny Clark or Osa?
I want to say Kenny Clark because I've seen Kenny Clark like make these splash plays at times. Like I remember last night he made a play on a screen pass that would have gone for a whole lot of yards if Kenny wasn't the sole D lineman to recognize the play and put a stop to it. But Osa, he's been pretty disappointing. I haven't really seen him do much of anything, and he's kind of a minus in the run game as it stands right now. So I say Kenny Clark is the better player as of right now.
But here's the thing. Didn't you guys just give Osa an extension?
Yes, we did.
So you have to worry about that. So when you're making that decision who goes on the bench, well, I think Kenny Clark, I don't think we gave him a contract extension. I'm talking about the Packers, and I don't think the Cowboys have either. So with that being said, I believe I'll probably go Kenny Clark, bring him off the bench just from a money standpoint and have Osa continue to start. But if you're really trying to win right now, this instant, like you mentioned, with who's been better, then you go with Kenny Clark. So Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, or is it Osa with Quinnen Williams? Who knows? But I think either way, I think you guys will be just right if, like you mentioned before, Matt Eberflus, if he's able to cook something up because he hasn't been cooking up anything this entire season. So you have that to worry about. I think this should help.
This helps the linebackers out a little bit because, better defensive tackle play, you get better linebacker play because guys get to run free. They get to see things a little more clear.
Yeah.
I'm not banking no hopes on it because Kenneth Murray is dog water, but maybe we could even some progression is progression at this point.
I also think with the edge rush play as well with the trade for Quinnen Williams, I'm looking at Donovan Izaraku. Is he going to be able to?
He's been
going to get one-on-ones. Is he going to be able to get more pressures and sacks now that Quinnen Williams is going to be added to this defensive front? So I'm curious to see how that looks. And also Logan Wilson, the addition of him as well. So you add those two pieces. How will it look? And with DaRon Bland and whoever the hell is in that secondary, are they going to be able to hold up? Are they going to have more time to hold up considering the addition of Quinnen Williams? Because as we saw last Monday night, I saw some of the clips online. I wasn't able to watch the game, but I saw some of the clips online where Marvin Harrison Jr. was looking like a stud out there. He was looking like the wide receiver that we expected from him coming out of Ohio State. And DaRon Bland, it wasn't pretty at all.
$23 million, by the way.
Even CeeDee Lamb had to make an expression after that move in the red zone. But anywho, when we all know when you have good pass rush play, when you have a good defensive front, it makes the jobs of the corners and the safeties a lot easier. Case in point with the Packers, especially at the beginning of the season. So we'll see how things go. I like the move for the Cowboys, and it's all about can Matt Eberflus cook or not? And if he can't, then he needs to go. Simple as that.
Yeah, we in agreement there. I still in favor of tanking the season. 3-5-1 might be too big of a hole to climb out of. And I still think this defense is they need a few more additions or moves to even be competitive with this defensive unit. So, Overshown is coming back, and Ravel is supposed to be back. Could they really be that much needle movers to where you get this defense somewhere in the 20s? Maybe. I don't know, but I don't really want this team to make the playoffs or even try to compete. Finishing 500 would be a disaster, because then you're just taking your draft picks for no reason. I say just punt the season. We tooling up for next year. Even thing is, let's say in the offseason, the Raiders say, you know what? We open a trade to Max Crosby. I say send them 2 firsts from this draft to go get Max Crosby. There's a lot of money out there, and also, if you're going to do this deal, you have to make it a priority to re-sign George Pickens. You got Quinnen Williams, you got to re-sign George because Quinnen Williams, his highest cap hit is only $30 million in 2028 or something like that, or 2020. So that's not bad for a top 5 DT. I mean, we'll take that. The money only gets higher, so you got to make it a priority to sign George Pickens in the offseason.
What is his market price going to be after the season, considering
The
he's
first
been
thing
playing really good football?
I would offer him. I would start the discussions at DK Metcalf money.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You're not resigning him. You're cooked.
Why not?
You're cooked. You're cooked, bro. That's a lot of money for a wide receiver too.
Who else we paying?
You paid CD.
Uh-huh.
You traded Micah because you didn't want to give Micah a bunch of money. You just got
$47
Quinnen
million
Williams.
years.
You just got Quinnen Williams. You re-signed Dak for a lot of money, bro.
You're not thinking
pay
about the money we're
everybody
going
a
to
lot of
get.
money.
You're forgetting the money we're going to get from post-June. Trayvon Diggs' money is going to be off the books.
Okay.
We're going to have who else?
What about
Terrence
remember
Steele money is probably going to be off the books.
You just remember you also just gave Deron Bland a lot of money too.
I wish we would have traded him the way he played yesterday, because good grief. Malik Hooker money is going to be off the books probably. Donovan Wilson money is going to be off the books most likely. There's going to be some money and we already have like $30 million in cap space right now. So who knows what it's going to look like by the end of the year?
DK money is
I was going to say Gary Wilson money, but I know his agent is David Mulligetta. I already know how he rocking. So the negotiation ain't going to start unless he getting DK type money.
So you really want the Cowboys to look like the Bengals. Because the Bengals, bro, they paid T and they paid Jamar all that money with Joe Burrow as well, and their defense is not good. And they have Trey Hendrickson, one of the best passers.
We have more dudes on defense than they do, to be fair.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And they suck at drafting.
We got a lot of mouths to feed.
Better, but
we got a lot of mouths to feed, and it's shoot. It ain't like you're gonna be giving them crumbs.
All right, okay. You let George Pickens walk, then you back at square one. Like, oh, we just got CD and Jags out there. You ain't really like. What's the point? You're gonna trade George Pickens, have him for 1 year in the down season, then you back to square one. Now you're looking at wide receivers in the draft when we need to be spending those first 2 picks on trenches and DB.
So
I feel like having those 2 first give you that flexibility to re-sign George Pickens.
Do you think somebody will be willing to trade for Deron Bland?
Yeah, if they could play him in the slot primarily.
Even with that contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you can trade Deron Bland, hey, maybe. Okay. I could see.
I wouldn't be against it. But I feel like we're not playing him in his right. He's a nickel corner. I don't know why. I know they kind of have him out on the outside out of necessity, but that's not his game. But he can't really refuse because we paid you the contract. You're going to play where we want you to play. But Matt Eberflus needs to be like, you know what? This outside experiment ain't working. Get you behind in the nickel, and we're going. If you're going to get torched on the outside, you might as well bolster up the nickel play and just have whoever going to get torched on the outside play the outside.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
They got about a week to figure it out.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. So I want to go to the other Jet player that got traded. I want to talk about Sauce Gardner.
No, I ain't see this coming at all.
No, I ain't see it coming either. You know, a guy that was first team All-Pro in his rookie season.
Just
now
he
gets traded. Just got a contract as well. I want to bring up something real quick because I was looking at opponent passing yards per game, and it makes sense why the Colts made this move because the Colts are at the bottom of the league at opponents passing yards per game. They're 26. So it makes a lot of sense that they would get.
Could that be due to them being up a lot in games and playing that soft zone coverage and teams just throwing to get back into the game?
I mean that could be the case. That could be the case, but I mentioned it before. Remember in previous podcasts how the Colts, their defense, they can be susceptible to giving up a lot of points. So
You
I
did say
think
that.
part of that is also Kenny Moore has been out with injury for a large part of the season. So you
Travarius
have
Ward
that
as
to deal
well.
with. Yeah. So I believe this addition can help bolster their depth and also make sure that those corners that are injured, they can still have somebody to rely on in the event that those two guys are out with injuries or even just one of them is out with injury. So I like this move. 2 first round picks is crazy though, because I've been hearing for I don't know what video I watched. It was some former NFL player who was talking about Sauce Gardner and how he hasn't improved since his rookie year and how he's still doing some of the same things that he did in his rookie year that has um, really hurt him. The whole thing about him holding and stuff like that. I remember there was like, even in his rookie year, people saying, oh, this man's holding, this man's getting away with holding people and stuff like that. And he's continuously doing that. I was looking at his PFF grade and it's not terrible, but he's, where he was his rookie year, you know what I mean? Like he has a 71 PFF grade, which is 21st out of 105 qualifying cornerbacks, which isn't bad, but it's not the all pro level that we've seen from Sauce Gardner in the past. So I'm wondering, did the Colts give up too much to get Sauce Gardner? Do you think that the Colts went they just they just gave up too much? Do you think, given the fact that Daniel Jones is the quarterback, do you believe this was the right move or was it the wrong move?
Listen, I'm not going to fault a team that sees where they're heading and trying to just go for it. With the move like this, the Colts are, I believe they're number two in the. Well, they might be one. They're top two seed in the AFC as it stands currently right now. So I'm not going to fault the GM for going for a move like this. 2 first round picks is a bit steep for Sauce Gardner, but I feel like it solves an immediate need for them and it gives them a little more star power on that side of the football. And we all know how situations can change for make change a player is their performance. Uh, who's to say that the Jets he just couldn't really buy in on the Jets? I mean, the Jets, they always on the field because the offense is lackluster, so that could be skewing the numbers. Sauce Gardner's still a good player in my opinion. 2 first is kind of crazy though. But
Mm-hmm.
if you truly believe this team is a contender, no one gonna care about them 2 first if they make a deep run in the playoffs. Because then they can, and also since he's under contract, yeah, you're giving up a lot of capital, but then you're also saving money in the future.
Okay, I'm in. All right. I understand. I understand. I just think they're putting a lot of expectations on the shoulders of Daniel Jones in this offense to deliver. Now, I think they're the top team in the NFL right now. I think they might have the best record. Let me check the standings real quick. It's
And also
actually,
those picks will be very late on
yeah,
the back end of the first round. So it's not
they're
like they're
7 and
giving
2.
up 7-2. So yeah, really
Yeah,
good
they're the
record.
top team. They're the top. They're tied for first. New England is second. They're also 7 and 2. Denver is third. They're 7 and 2. But they
Okay.
have the number one seed at this moment. It's because they're 6 and 1 and they're in the conference. So the Colts, they're riding high.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that they put themselves in a position to where, come playoff time, they have all the holes that are filled and they can just smooth sailing when playoffs arrive. And then you also have to remember Kansas City is coming up pretty soon for them, and that's going to be a huge test. So they want to make sure that they are ready to go against Kansas City and that offensive juggernaut team with all those weapons. So, hey,
Also on your Sauce Gardner, I believe Sauce Gardner has the highest shadow rate for number one wide receivers in the league this year. So obviously he's going against the best of the best on the other team. You're going to get got going against number ones all game. So, you know,
mm-hmm.
Now I don't know what Luan Arumo may have cooked up for him. He may only play one side of the field because you also have a guy like Kenny Moore on the other side as well. And once Travarius Ward comes back, that secondary is going to be very formidable. So who knows? He could. People be like, oh wow, this guy's really, really good again. So yeah, I think it's a good trade for them. Um, yeah, it is. But for the Jets are doing the right thing with blowing up this whole roster. You have one win through 9 weeks of the NFL season.
Yeah.
It's not getting any better. Your GM did the GM get fired? Well, that was another
Um,
team.
that was Chris Greer of the Dolphins that got fired
Okay,
that
okay,
you're
yeah,
mentioning.
I got
Yeah.
him confused. Other AFC East team, but yeah, it's the right move. I'm surprised they didn't try to move Garrett Wilson for something, but they say he's untouchable. So don't know what that's all about, but they're doing the right thing, man. Blow this thing up. We're gonna rebuild. Now, my question to you, Aaron, is with the accumulation of these first round picks, do you think they're giving Aaron Glenn more than just this year to make something happen?
Boy, that's a great question. I can't give you a definitive answer. I believe that comes down to how he finishes the season because if he only has one win by the end of the year, I don't see how he survives. I know, hey, that one win, yay, they won, but like, nah, man. And given just seeing how Brees Hall is acting, he's like, man, like he's tweeting, hoping he gets traded. I feel like that's a bad sign, man. If the running back on your squad is like, man, I can't wait to get out of here, I feel like that's a bad sign. And just some of the things that I've been hearing, I remember Aaron Rodgers talked about the meeting that he had with him and just some other things. I just don't see it. I just don't see an organization that has routinely been dysfunctional and has made all the wrong decisions in the past. And he's a black QB. I mean, black QB, a black head coach. I don't see it. I don't see it. Just the nature of the NFL. If he only wins one game for the entire season, remember, this is 17 weeks. This ain't even 16 weeks in the season. You got 17 weeks and you only mustered one game? Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't.
But then he could also be like, you traded two of my best players. How you want to expect me to win?
But when the players were there, you were only able to garner one win. So it doesn't really matter anyway. So like, I just don't see the Jets keeping Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a scapegoat by the end of the year if he's only able to win a game. And it's just been a disaster offensively and defensively for the Jets team. I just think that they're not competitive at all at this moment. So, there's bad teams, and the reason why they're bad is because we just they don't compete, they don't try at all. And then there's other teams that okay, yeah, they're bad, but at least they're trying, at least they're competing. Like the Saints are really, really bad, but moments during the season, I was like, okay, at least they're trying to compete, at least they're trying to put up a fight. This team doesn't even put up a fight most of the time, and that's a huge problem. And that's how the Cleveland Browns ended up with remember Hugh Jackman and that whole situation. I just think if a coach can only win one game throughout the entirety of the NFL season, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. I don't care what anybody says. And if your team doesn't compete consistently, that's a red flag. I don't care that we signed you for a 4-year contract. You got to go. I'm sorry. You're the wrong guy. If he won 4 or 5 games and they were competing, I'm like, okay, I'll give you more time. But like one game and your team is getting just absolutely destroyed almost every week, and guys are not putting in the requisite effort. No. We'll see how it ends, though. We'll see how it ends. But right now, I don't see it.
We shall see. We shall see.
And also, let's think about this. when has it ever been a good idea to give a coach another year that came off of a horrendous season and then they draft a quarterback, number one overall pick? Because they're going to have the number one overall pick more than likely, given their record and how bad they've been playing. Unless the Titans just so happen to sneak in, but they're not going to draft quarterback because they have Cam Moore. So you're going to draft a quarterback, either one or two, and you think it's a good idea to keep a head coach that just came off of a 1-win season? Hell no. That's crazy. But you know what? It's the Jets. It's the Jets. You never know. You never know with this team. It's the Jets. They routinely do stupid stuff like this. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me, but I don't see it. I don't.
You probably, yeah, I do believe they'll fire him if he can't muster up any more wins of the season. I think he has to at least get 4 wins to even have some like that leeway to be like, okay, we'll give you another year with the new QB. You got new pick, you got all these picks and stuff, and so I'll give you that. I think they got like
But
3 first-round picks coming into going in the next draft.
by the way, I just want to say, because we got to think about this, because I just mentioned it like a few minutes ago about he's a black head coach. The only other head coach that I can remember that got so much leeway, got so much um, protection, right, from the organization was Hugh Jackman. He's the only other coach that I can think of. All the other coaches, all the other black coaches, if they have a horrible season, that coach for the Cardinals, I forgot his name, who only had 1 year
I know you talk
and
about
got
you
fired.
talking about
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, but I think he was bald or something like that. I think
No, he
he was
wasn't bald.
no, he
He
wasn't bald.
wasn't bald. He
They
had gray
started with a
hair.
W, right? Well,
I
when
don't.
is it?
He remember he was the interim coach for the Panthers at one point, and they decided to not go with him as the coach. I remember. I forget
Yeah,
his
I
name.
know exactly what you talk about. I
Steve,
just can't
is it
remember his
Steve
name.
Wilkes?
Steve Wilkes. Yeah, Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. He was remember the Cardinals hired him as the head coach, and he did awful his first year with Cardinals, and they let him go. It's just it's just the NFL. That's just the way it works. Like these owners, man, like these are some old white owners who they think a certain way of society, and a lot of times when it comes to African American coaches, they're not going to get some of the leeway like some of these Caucasian coaches or even Hispanic coaches. Like that's just the case, and I don't see Aaron Glenn getting that same leeways, that same excuse and protection like some of these white head coaches get. So he has to win more games, and his players got to be competitive and buy in, or he's done. It's just that simple. That is the nature of the NFL. And with that,
Raheem Morris got a little bit of a leash in Atlanta. That man, he gonna be gone after this year if they don't make the playoffs.
that is true. I will, but you got to remember the owner of the Atlanta Falcons. He gives coaches a bit of time. Arthur Blank, he's one of
Yeah,
those dudes. He's one of those dudes that he's one of those rare owners that will, especially for like African American coaches, you want if there's an owner that you want to hire you, you want Arthur Blank to hire you because he's going to give you time to do what you need to do. So Arthur Blank is one of those rare owners that he'll take care of you and he'll give you some time to figure it out. But yeah, Raheem Morris, he does got to win. Anywho, I want to put a bow on that. Let's get to the. Is there any other big trades that happened? Because I can't think of any other big
um,
trades
I like
besides.
it's a few little like I like the Seahawks getting Rashid Shaheed, good deep threat for that offense. Um,
That's
should
huge.
make
That's
it
actually really huge for them.
should make them more dynamic. Don't have to rely on JSN as much as they do. He's getting a lot of targets and catches and stuff. So Rashid Shaheed really good stretching the field. Um, Other than that, Eagles made some trades and they got Jalen Phillips, I think that's his name.
Yeah,
So
which is
third for a third round pick,
and they got
not
Jair,
bad,
which
not
mm,
bad. Jair's in, but
yeah, he's
but here's my thing. Okay, there's a few teams. We talked about the moves that teams that did make moves. Let's talk about the teams that didn't make moves right quick. What on earth is Brad Holmes, Brett Veach, dang, who was the Patriots GM? The
you,
Patriots GM.
yeah,
What
you're
were
guessing
they
your mind.
doing? Oh, and the Bills GM. What in the world were they doing? Just sitting there with their hands behind their back, watching everything go down. Y'all are top records in your respective conference, and you just sit by and do nothing. The Chiefs, y'all know y'all did wrong for that. The Lions did wrong, and the Bills, you could have got a wide receiver. You know you need a wide receiver. I don't understand what these teams are doing. I really don't. I'm not saying
Yeah,
you just got to trade just to make a trade, but like you legitimately could have improved your roster and you just sat by and did nothing.
yeah, I think Rashid Shaheed could have been good for the Bills as well because they need a speedster on the outside, and he's really good. Like I think he's one. He's an underrated receiver, given
Yeah,
he's on the Saints, but he's made some really good plays for the Saints in the past. I know Chris Olave has been their number one guy, and he's been really good for the Saints. But Rashid Shaheed, man, he be making some explosive plays, and that's what they need for the Bills. They need a guy that can bring some explosiveness to that offense, and the fact that they did not address the wide receiver position is very telling. Maybe they just think that Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir and rely on the running game will be good enough. I don't believe that's good enough. But hey, it is what it is. And the Patriots, on the other hand, um, hearing rumors about Chris Olave, they didn't go after Chris Olave, and they didn't go after Rashid Shaheed. So these guys, they're just like, we're good. I don't understand it. I don't know why. Maybe they think that in the NFL draft coming up, that it's very important to have these draft picks, and maybe they'll go after a wide receiver in the draft. But just looking at their records, looking what they're doing right now, I feel like you need to capitalize on right now the fact that you're competing, that you're winning, that you have a really good record in the conference. You don't know if you'll ever have this window again. The Chiefs are vulnerable. Like it's anybody's taking. Anybody can win the Super Bowl this year. Anybody, man. Like, are you serious? I can't think of a time where we are 9 weeks to the season, and I can't definitively say who's the number one contender for the Super Bowl. I can't.
me either.
I'm literally trying to think like, man, every team has flaws. Every team is susceptible to lose. Even the Chiefs, we just saw against the Bills, they broke down. They
We just
broke
saw what
down.
what, what happened to the Lions against the Vikings.
My
We
Packers
literally just
lost to the
saw, yeah, the
Panthers,
pack, yeah.
and the
Colts
um
lost to the
the
Steelers.
Colts lost to the Steelers. So, man, all these teams are suspect, and you just say, no, we're going to sit and we're going, we'll be fine. Come on, man. Are you serious? You can have the opportunity to put yourself above the rest of your competitors, and you said, nah, we just gonna lay low, we're gonna chill, we're gonna keep these draft picks that most time than not, it's not going to work out because we don't really draft well. I'm talking about the Bills. I don't understand it. I really don't. It makes no sense. And I feel like with the Patriots, the whole Travion Henderson situation has been a disaster, and they used a second round pick on him. So what? Why do you care so much about these draft picks? You already wasted a second round pick for Travion Henderson that hasn't done much for you for whatever reason. So why are you wasting draft picks when it hasn't been good for you? The only time it's been good for you is when you used a first round draft pick on Gonzalez, which a lot of people thought Gonzalez was going to be good, and Drake May, who I thought was going to be really good. Like these are first round draft picks, but like second rounders, third rounders, fourth rounders, you telling me you want to keep those picks? Are you out of your mind, bro? For Rashid Shaheed that can change your offense for the better, or Chris Olave that can change your offense for the better. You really think Stephon Diggs after all those surgeries, all those knee surgeries and stuff like that, is going to change life for you in the playoffs? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Your offensive line is still a bit shaky. Drake May is still getting sacked a bunch. He's just an amazing QB that's able to overcome. Bro, when the playoffs roll around, it's a different beast. Guys got film on you. Now they're going to put their best, most complicated defenses on the field. And you just said, nope, we're good. That's tough.
Even the Jags went and traded for Jacoby Myers.
Even the Jags traded, yep. And they had Travis Hunter. He's going to be out for a little bit with that injury, unfortunately. I just don't understand some of these teams, man. I just don't. But it is what it is. It's not my problem. Anywho, let's move on. Let's get to the games. Week 9 of the NFL. And I just mentioned it before. Some of the top teams, some of the teams that we feel like can contend for a Super Bowl lost this past week. The Chiefs, the Packers, the Colts, and who else lost? I'm missing one. I said Colts, Packers, Chiefs,
Lions.
Who's the Lions? Yeah. All 4 of them lost. Interesting. But I want to get to my team first. It's a good thing I'm working on Sundays. I think there's a reason why I'm working on Sundays, because if I wasn't working on Sundays, boy, you would see me every single week crashing out. It don't matter if it's a win or a loss. Even if we won the game, I would have been pissed. But the fact that we lost that game, oh my God. How do you lose that game? How? So I wrote down some notes. I was watching film. I wrote down notes of each drive because I watched every single offensive snap of that game. I don't normally do that. I normally just watch, okay, let me watch Jordan Love, what he's doing, all his pass attempts to see if he was good or not. This time I said, you know what? I want to see exactly what plays are being called, when they're being called, what down and distance, because I want to understand, okay, what is Matt LaFleur doing? What is his thought process on these plays? And when does he call these plays? So I wrote down, we had 7 offensive drives. So the first 2 drives, they were potentially scoring drives that ultimately didn't happen because of penalties, because of a turnover. So the first drive, fumble by Xavier Williams when we were near the red zone. After it looked like a promising drive. Second drive, a bunch of penalties, holding, false start, Jordan Morgan getting cooked, which resulted in a sack, and we had to kick a field goal at the end instead of going for a touchdown. The third drive, more penalties. Love bails pocket too soon, and he missed a potential touchdown to Romeo Doubs. And then a bad call on third down. Nobody was open. Fourth drive, offensive line can't hold up. Wide receiver screen on 3rd and 10. And nobody is open. Drive 4, offensive line can't hold up. Wide receiver screen on 3rd and 10. Missed field goal. Drive 5, running back doesn't pick up middle linebacker blitz. Now, in fairness, the Carolina Panthers did really good job, especially the linebacker, because the running back did not have time to pick up the blitz because literally the snap of the ball comes out, boom, the linebacker is already racing to get to Jordan Love. But running back wasn't able to pick up the middle linebacker blitz. Jordan Love throws interception intended for Christian Watson, who was double covered. And by the way, before he threw that interception, if you recall, he was able to deliver the ball to Romeo Doubs on a big first down gain. And then all of a sudden he just decides, you know what? I'm going to be searching for the big play. I want to get this offense going, explosive plays, not thinking at all. I'm just going to chuck it to Christian Watson in double coverage. It did not make any sense at all. That was a dumb play by Jordan Love. Moving on, drive 6. Penalty on the tight end. 3-yard loss, HB toss run. Third down conversion from Love to Doubs. So Love bailed Matt LaFleur and them out because of that bad play call on third down. A read option failed on second down. I don't know if Love was allowed to throw it to Emmanuel Wilson because it was like an option. It looked like an option play where he could have given it to the running back or he could have thrown it to the running back who was a receiver. But I'm not in the meeting rooms. I'm not on the team, so I have no idea. But it was a read option play, and Love, for whatever reason, he was only able to gain 1 yard. Love fails to convert on 3rd and 4, which was an intended pass to Watson. Should have stayed in the pocket longer to deliver to Heath on the comeback route. That would have been his 4th read. He still had time in the pocket to deliver, but he rushed his progression for whatever reason. Converted on 4th down. So even though Love made all those mistakes, he converted on 4th down. We able to go 3rd and 3 running back screen. 3rd and 3 running back screen at the 8-yard line resulted in a 4-yard loss. Failed 4th and 8 conversion with no receiver open and offensive line breaking down. I don't know if you was looking online. That was when people was making fun of Jordan Love, like, oh my God, that's the worst throw of the NFL season. I think it was he nearly threw an interception and the corner dropped the football in the end zone. But nobody was open.
See that.
Nobody was open. The offensive line was not able to protect Jordan Love in that instance. It was just a bad play call by Matt LaFleur. Just nobody was open. And the only person he can go to at that moment was Romeo Doubs because it looked like maybe he was being held by the corner. So maybe he can get pass interference call. But Romeo Doubs, he got pushed out of bounds. So now he's ineligible. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense. That's drive number 6. Number 6, no touchdowns. Drive 7 was the scoring drive where we was able to tie the game. But by that point, it was too late because the Panthers got the ball back and they were able to win the game by a field goal. So, with all that being said, the problems that I noticed while watching was the offensive line penalties, especially the first 2 drives, holding and false start. Those were 2 times, the first 2 drives, where we potentially could have had scoring drives, and we failed. Number 2, offensive line struggles on passing downs. This offensive line, week by week, is so inconsistent. We don't know if they're going to be able to hold up or not. Sometimes they're good in the running game. Sometimes they're bad in the run game. Sometimes they're good in the passing game. Sometimes they're bad in the passing game. This game, they were actually good at run blocking, but they were bad in pass blocking. Weird. Bad play calling near red zone area. I mentioned before, wide receiver screens, receivers not getting opened. This was evident while watching the film. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And they just continuously do that over and over again. Most of the drives, we were converting down the field up until near the red zone when penalties started to happen. Dumb play calls started to happen. Okay. Turnovers. I mentioned it before. Xavier Williams fumble, Jordan Love interception. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. Missed field goal. I'm done with Brandon McManus. I'm just done. I'm done with him. Why is he still kicking for this team right now? When Matt LaFleur is saying, "Oh, he's going through something right now. He was just dealing with the injury." Then why is he playing? Why is he starting? Put the other guy on the field that kicked a franchise record in Packers history. Why would you not go to the young guy? It makes absolutely no sense. Um, Number 5, Love left a few plays on the table. I mentioned before the potential touchdown to Dobbs that would have given us a score, would have given us 7. He missed that. Throw to Musgrave, that was the first play of the game, but again, it didn't really matter because we were able to convert after that. Also, the Heath comeback route as well. But again, it didn't matter because we were able to convert after that. Love not trusting his offensive line on 2 plays. The touchdown, the missed potential touchdown for Dobbs, and the bad read to Watson for second down. So that's all my notes on this game. Matt LaFleur, he's a good play designer. His problem is he just is not a good play caller depending on where we are on the where we are um on the field. So like when we're near the red zone area, he just for whatever reason feels the need to call a running back or a wide receiver screen. Me personally, I'm the type of person I don't think that's a good idea to call a wide receiver screen or a running back screen when we're near the red zone. That's just me. Or maybe, just maybe, he needs to get more creative in the type of wide receiver screens, running back screens. Because I was watching the film of Vikings versus Lions, and Kevin O'Connell called a running back screen um, near the red zone area, and I believe they were able to get a first down off of that. But see, his play was a lot more creative, and the offensive line was able to get down there and block for them a lot better than whatever the hell we're doing. So he needs to be more innovative in some of his play designs if he's going to call a wide receiver screen or a running back screen, because it's clear as day it's not working and it's way too predictable. I also thought the running game, for the most part, was good. I didn't think we were the play calling. I thought every time we elected to run the ball, it was at the most appropriate time, the most important down, the most important time of the game. I didn't think I didn't think it was bad that we were running the ball to Josh Jacobs 17 times. He averaged 5 yards a carry, and I think he had 97 yards for a touchdown. I don't think that's bad. That's a bad game for the running game. I just think overall, the wide receiver screens, the penalties, the offensive line not being consistent enough is what lost us the game. And also Jordan Love at times, he just he needs to trust his offensive line a little bit more, and just not force the ball down the field when your receiver is double covered. So that's my thoughts of the game. Any thoughts?
I was not able to watch this game, unfortunately, but when I finally was able to like check the scores and stuff, it was around like the fourth quarter. I was like, does that say 13, like 10, 10, 13, 13? What is going on? So I'm like, I was expecting y'all to get it, not blow them out, but get like at least win by a touchdown or so. I don't think the Panthers is all that great in my eyes, but apparently they can do a few things well. They can run the ball, they can stop the run, but they ain't really do that great of a job stopping the run this game. But previously, they've been able to stop the run it pretty efficiently. But this game, something must have went wrong for them on that side. But it guess didn't matter. They got out of there with a win. The Panthers, they were home, correct?
No, we were home.
Y'all were home?
Yes, we were home.
That's even worse. Yeah,
Yes.
I'd be heated if I was you. That's unacceptable. You can't let them folks come in your trap, rush for 130 on the ground with Rico Dowdle. Bryce Young only threw for 102 passing yards. There's no way you lose a game when the opposing QB only puts up 100 passing yards and they only score 13 points. You think if I told you that stat line pregame, you'd be like, oh yeah, we gotta win. That is ridiculous, man. The 40, I said 49ers.
That's what
Y'all
it
gotta
felt
do
like to me. That's what it felt like the conference semis in 2021. That's what it felt like to me when we lost to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, the Packers. This can't be becoming a reoccurring theme, because this isn't the first time a game like this has happened for y'all, where you should have won and stuff just didn't go right offensively. Uh, did you look at any of the defense to see what went wrong on that side of the ball? Because
Well,
130 yards on the ground is a lot.
here's my thing for the defense. I'm not mad. They only gave up 16 points. You give
That
up
is true.
16 points
That
in an
that's fair.
NFL
That's
game.
fair.
I don't care what transpired. You're supposed to win that game. The defense did their job. Now they weren't able to. I think they only were able to muster up one sack, which is not all that great given that the Panthers were dealing with injuries on the offensive line. But they did get a turnover, a big turnover at that, from Xavier McKinney early in the game. So they were finally able to get a turnover. I'm not mad at the defense, man. I think the defense, they did a good enough job to keeping the team in the game. For crying out loud, I was looking at the just the quarter by quarter box score of the Packers, and the fourth. Let me see. Give me 1 second. The fourth quarter, they only gave up 3 points. They only gave up 3 points. So how can I be mad at the defense? Let me see. If I can find it. Yeah. So the first quarter, they gave up 0 points. The second quarter, they gave up 7 points. The third quarter, 3 field goals. Fourth quarter, a field goal. How can I blame the defense for the loss? This is all on the offense yet again. And guess who is the head coach who's supposed to be this wizard of an offensive play caller? He can't muster up nothing. He is screwing up this team every single week, and we keep converting down the field. But when we get to a certain point of the field near the red zone, it just seems like Matt LaFleur's brain just starts to malfunction. And he's like, we got to call a screen. We got to call a screen. Like, no, you don't. Why are we calling a wide receiver screen in this moment, especially like on a third down? A third down, you're calling wide receiver screen. Put the ball in Jordan Love's hands. Make him make a play. Are you insane? And you're it's not like he's calling different type of screenplays. He's calling the same screenplays. You know how easy that is going to pick up? Come on, bro. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get with this dude. I don't. They need to correct this, because this coming week, we got the Eagles. We got the Eagles on Monday Night Football. And guess what? I'm going to be off on Monday, so I'm going to be able to watch that full game. So they better figure something out, because now they don't have Tucker Kraft at all. He's out for the
Oh yeah,
season,
he's done.
ACL
Yeah,
injury,
that's
which
big
which
hit.
really sucks. Which really sucks, because he's the heart and soul of our team right now. He was the tough guy of our team. Now we're gonna be missing him. So now Matt LaFleur got to figure out, okay, no Tucker Kraft. What we gonna do now? Now you gotta bring out Luke Musgrave, who, he made a couple good plays for us this past week. But dog, now you're missing arguably your best offensive weapon outside of maybe a Josh Jacobs. Boy, good luck. Good luck, Matt LaFleur. Because I know Kevin O'Connell will figure it out. I know even Kyle Shanahan could figure it out, because these dudes are actually good play callers, unlike you. I don't know, man. This team, until they figure out this offensive line, until Matt LaFleur becomes a better play caller, this team, man, they're pretenders. They're
Mm.
pretenders. They
So
are,
it
like,
seems like the reoccurring thing with LaFleur is he is not a good situational play caller.
no, he's not. He's
Okay.
not. So what teams have figured out is that, okay, if we just allow them to keep taking the underneath stuff, let them do a death by 1,000 paper cuts, essentially, which is like, okay, we're going to force them to do 11, 14 play drives, and
Okay.
eventually they're going to make a mistake. That's what
Yeah.
teams are doing. They're taking away the explosive plays. There was maybe one or two explosive play from the game Watson, and I believe maybe Musgrave or Dobbs or something like that. For the most part, it's a lot of intermediate, it's a lot of short stuff. And they're like, hey, we're banking on the fact that eventually there's going to be a penalty here by the guard or the center. It's going to be a penalty here because somebody false starts. That's what they're banking on. And it works. It works because we are undisciplined half of the time. We can't run block consistently. We can't pass block consistently. And Jordan Love a lot of times has to make something out of nothing because the play calling sucks. Matt LaFleur situationally, he sucks. That's just the way it goes. That's why I'm looking at this team like they're pretenders because this offense is so predictable in certain spots that it becomes unwatchable. Like Matthew Golden can't get schemed open. Are you serious, bro? Come on, man. Matthew Golden,
Drafted him,
Romeo,
drafted him in the first round too.
Romeo Dobbs is the only dude that consistently gets the ball and he's getting schemed open. And now with Christian Watson coming back, it seems like Love is trying to make a point of emphasis to get him the ball. Man, Matt LaFleur, what are you going to do? What are you going to do this Monday? What are you going to do? I'm going to be watching. We are all going to be watching
America
because
will be watching.
America going to be watching because I want to see what you are going to do against the Philadelphia Eagles. Because right now, I don't think we're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care we're at home because we just lost to Carolina at home. I don't care that we beat the Lions week 1. I don't care that we beat Commanders. We already know Commanders are frauds. Look what's happening with their season. And the Lions, that was week 1. They were still trying to figure out their whole situation because they got
Y'all
2 new
tied with
coordinators.
us.
So, bro, Matt LaFleur, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? Because you got the Eagles coming up, and you know their defensive line is like that. You got to worry about Jalen Carter now. We saw what happened with Myles Garrett. You tried to put 3 people on him. Jalen Carter coming to bro. Jalen Carter is no joke either. So good luck. Good luck. You got to expose. AJ Brown is going to cook our corners too. Oh my God. Keyshawn Nixon, good luck. Devontae Smith. Oh my God. He's going to. Nate Hobbs is out for a few weeks. Keyshawn Nixon, goodbye. Like AJ Brown got you. Yeah, I got the Eagles already. I don't even need to look at the injury report. I got the Eagles. All right,
Hey
let's
man,
move on,
I
man.
think I'd
Let's
go.
move
I'd
on.
go there too.
Let's move on, man. I spent too much damn time on this. Let's go to Bills versus Chiefs. I'll start with Mahomes, and then you could go to Allen and whatever it is. But it wasn't good. It wasn't a good day for Patrick Mahomes. I think he was 15 for, I want to say, give me 1
I
second.
hate this ESPN app.
He was 15 for 34 passing for 250 yards. He had a passer rating of 57.2 and a QBR of 50. He was sacked 3 times and he had 1 interception. And funny enough, people make fun of Jordan Love for that interception that he made when he was trying to pass it to Christian Watson. Mahomes did the same exact thing when he tried. I believe he was trying to target. It was either Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy down the field into double coverage. So Mahomes did the exact same thing, but he had a far worse game than Jordan Love. Mahomes, some of his decision making this game was alarming. There was times where I felt like he was staring down his first read too much. He didn't go through his progressions. He was just focused in on that first read and he was forcing it to the first read. And it was problematic. I also think at times, I think the offensive line was a bit questionable. Jawan Taylor, as always. I think the Bills did a really good job of just defending the Chiefs' offense. They really had their way against the wide receivers. The running game didn't do much as well. I'm looking at the team stats. They only mustered 79 yards of running offense. Can't do that. And then I also think their third down efficiency when talking about the Chiefs, they were only able to muster 3 of 13. You're not going to
Mm,
win when you're only able to get 3 of 13 on third down compared to the Bills who were 7 for 12. I think that was really the game right there. It was third down. The
yeah.
Bills were able to convert a lot more. The Bills had 400 yards of total offense. The Chiefs had 305 yards of total offense. And when I look at Josh Allen, Josh Allen was 23 of 26 passing, which is flawless. 273 yards passing, one touchdown. He had a passer rating of 123.2 and a QBR 83.8. But to me, I think the star of the show was really James Cook, who had 27 carries, 114 yards rushing. I think that was really the star of the show. And Josh Allen had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Ty Johnson had a rushing touchdown as well. So, yeah, man, I think the reason why I had the Chiefs winning this game is because I didn't think that the Bills' rushing offense was going to be able to be this dominant against the Chiefs. Because I was looking at the stats and I thought, okay, the Chiefs are they're at the top of the NFL in terms of rushing defense. I thought, they're not the best, but like I think they're like top 10, top 11. So I'm thinking, okay, the Chiefs, they've been playing okay so far. They've been on the up. I think they can beat the Bills, even though the Bills are at home. I was a bit hesitant because, in recent history, we've seen the Bills when they're at home in the regular season. Normally they beat the Chiefs. But I'm like, this go around, the Chiefs offense has been looking a lot better. The Bills defense has been a bit shaky. Let me go with the Chiefs. And boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. And the Bills won because of that rushing offense. Any thoughts on this game? Any thoughts?
Um, yeah. It was too easy for Josh Allen. I'm not going to lie. Josh Allen was out there making play after play. It was letting him get real comfortable. He's making plays outside the pocket. And what another thing that people didn't realize, the Chiefs' offense looked very efficient these past weeks when Pat Mahomes was able to scramble, create plays in the run game. He only had one scramble this game, and it went for 5 yards. So the Bills did a good job containing Mahomes and keeping him having to play from inside the pocket, and that is really, in my opinion, what really led to the success defensively for the Bills. And the Chiefs defense, they just didn't show up the way they usually do. They had Dalton Kincaid looked like Travis Kelce out there. He had 101 yards on only 6 catches, and he had a touchdown too. So, hey man, they just can't beat these dudes in the regular season. But we all know what happens when it gets to January, and it don't matter if they're in Arrowhead or they're in Buffalo, they somehow pull out a win. But yeah, man, it's just another good game from the Bills. So I didn't really get to see the whole game like I wanted to. I saw like towards the end, I saw like the fourth down play the Chiefs ran. I wasn't a fan of the Chiefs play calling for the most part. A lot of times I feel like on early downs, they weren't really as aggressive as I'd like them to be. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was just a weird game for them. They didn't look like the team they looked like these previous weeks at all.
Yeah. I think again, like I mentioned, I think the game boiled down to the running attack of the Bills being dominant and also just third down. The Chiefs, third down, they just were not effective at all. And the Bills, they were amazing on third down. So you just got to salute to Josh Allen for being efficient and Dalvin Cook, James Cook for being really good at a running back. And then
James
also
Cook.
that defense. And also the defense as well. It just seems like they're able to scheme against the Chiefs every single time. It's never one of those games besides that playoff game where they were going band for band when they still had Tyreek Hill. For the most part, the Bills have been really good on defense at containing that offense for stretches of the game. So, yeah, man, the Bills. I don't know what
The
else to
Chiefs
say,
need
really.
Josh Simmons back. I'm glad I know they was like, whoo, finally he's back. Because boy, oh boy, that left tackle situation was getting
Abused.
dicey.
Yeah, it's getting abused. And I think the Bills, what the Bills doing with injuries on the defensive line, or
Let me
am
look.
I
Let me see
tripping?
what they.
Am I tripping?
Russo played. Bosa played. I don't see Ed Oliver
That's who it
in
was.
the
That's who
box
it was. They
score.
were
Yeah.
that's who it
Okay.
was. That's what yeah, they were missing Ed Oppler, who's arguably the best pass rusher, I want
Yeah.
to say. And they
He's
still
the
won.
best defensive player. Period.
And they still won. So anywho, let's
Jordan
move
Phillips
on.
ain't no slouch though. But, yeah.
Yeah, no. He's no slouch. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Vikings versus Lions. This game surprised me a lot. I know it's division game, so
I
anything
wish I
can
could have
happen.
watched this whole thing.
I know it's division game, but just knowing what we know about JJ McCarthy, which is he's been a bit shaky this year, and it's his first start back after that long layoff because of the injury. The fact that he comes right back, plays the Lions, and beats the Lions, I think they were in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
They were.
Insane. Like, how is that possible? So when I looked at JJ McCarthy, I thought still a lot of stuff he needs to work on. In regards to how he throws when he's under pressure, that's something that he needs to work on a lot. Throwing on the move, he still has flaws in that. His accuracy is still a bit of a concern when he's on the move, trying to scramble and trying to throw. That interception that he threw, which was intended to, I forgot who it was behind the receiver. So the DB was able to pick it off pretty easily. Still a concern. Ball placement is still a concern for him, but it did not matter. They still won because Kevin O'Connell, those offensive weapons with Aaron Jones, with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, with TJ Hawkinson, they're just so good that it doesn't matter that JJ McCarthy is inconsistent when it comes to throwing the football. He had some really nice throws. I really like the throw to Jordan Addison, although Jordan Addison wasn't able to complete the catch, even though it was a dime to him. I like the throw to Justin Jefferson in the end zone. He had another really good throw for a touchdown as well. I think it may have been to Hawkinson in the end zone. Those are some really nice throws. He had some nice plays, but ultimately, and then also the third down conversion to ice the game. I think
Yeah,
it was
that to
to
Jalen Naylor, that was a dot.
Jalen Naylor. That was a really good throw by him. Really good play. So he had some really good throws during that game.
He's
But
good when the game gets tight. Hey man, he's good
on
in
his
crunch
first read,
time.
he's really good on his first read. I'll say this: like JJ McCarthy on his first read, he's good. When everything is clean, when everything is good, no pressure, hey, he's solid. But when that pressure comes, when he has to roll out of the pocket and throw on the move, chances are it's not going to bode well. But anywho, man, I'm just shocked that the Lions lost this game. I thought that the Lions were better than
I am,
this.
but I'm also not very shocked.
Um, so
I'm
yeah,
shocked the
what's your
offense looked
thoughts?
as bad as they looked for a lot of for certain stretches of the game. Um, Point blank period, the Lions offensive line got whooped. They was getting whooped up on. I saw Dallas Turner making plays. I'm like, whoa, they got Dallas Turner. So Grenard was all over the place for them. Like
Mhm.
that offensive line got whooped up on. I'm not sure what the heck is going on. It's mostly that left side, in my opinion, that was getting abused. And yeah, you can definitely tell they missing some. They miss Ragnow and players like that. And yeah, they just that Vikings defense showed up and they played well. It's not like the Lions, they could move the ball, but every time they got to the red zone, they would stall out. Jared Goff would miss a throw or two, and it's just he would take a sack. Like Jared Goff, he got sacked 5 times this game, so
Yeah.
you can't really do that. And it was in crucial moments. So I remember I think it was in the red zone. Took a drop back. It was like second and it was like second and long, maybe like second and 9, run, then it worked first down. Boom, took a sack, and now it was 3rd and 16 or 3rd and 17. The Vikings, all they had to do was drop their men back in coverage and let the dogs loose. And you know what happened? They really couldn't get it going. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't really have that great of a game, only 9 carries. he had 25 yards. David Montgomery had 11 carries for 40 yards. The run game wasn't going, so the Lions wasn't going. And the Vikings, on the other hand, they weren't great offensively, but look, they was efficient on the run on the ground. They had Aaron Jones had 9 for 78.
Mm-hmm.
You do stuff like that, you won't win games, and they couldn't. The Vikings couldn't do nothing with it. They still had deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. Jordan Addison was open. Justin Jefferson was open. It was bad game for them. Bad game for them. They really got out coached, if you ask me. But
ooh, that's a good point. But like I mentioned this weeks ago when I was talking about the Packers versus the Lions, and what you need in order to beat this Lions team, you need a pass rush, which the Vikings have. You need a run game. You need to be able to stop the run, and you need to be able to get to the quarterback, and that's what they have. And I believe that is the reason why they won this game. Is the defense was able to get to Jared Goff. I believe they sacked him 5 times, which is a lot considering the Lions normally they're able to protect Jared Goff. And they were able to stop the run, which is huge against this team because with the Lions, their strength really is at the running game. When they're able to run the ball effectively, they're damn near hard to stop because you got play action, and then you go to Allen Raw, you go to Jamo, like those guys. You want to be able to stop that from happening, and the Lions were not able to consistently get anything going from the ground game, and the Vikings defense was able to just make sure that the Lions stayed at bay. And you got to remember, during that game, the Vikings had a 10-point lead at one point. I think it was like 17-7, and they just kept the lead going into the fourth quarter. They just kept the lead. Even when the Lions felt like they can get back in the game, I think in the fourth quarter, I think the Lions were down 2 scores at one point, and they were able to score 1, but it was just too late because J.J. McCarthy was able to make that huge play at the end. So the Vikings just made enough plays. J.J. McCarthy made enough plays when he needed to, and the defense made enough plays. Although they gave up 24 points, they sacked them 5 times, and they were able to build a comfortable lead to where now they're good. They got control of the entire game, and that's really what the story was. It's really what the story was.
David Montgomery had that crucial fumble. I forgot about that play. I was like, oh, you can't do that right there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Colts versus Steelers. Who would have thought?
Not me. I
didn't
thought
think
the Colts was gonna get an easy win.
Daniel Jones threw the ball 50 times. Daniel Jones.
That's not what you want to do.
So I'm looking at the score throughout the 4 quarters, and Pittsburgh scored 0 points in the first quarter, and the Colts scored 7 points. They were up 17-0, but then the second quarter happened, and Pittsburgh scored 17 unanswered points. The Colts didn't score any points in the second quarter, and they didn't score any points until the fourth quarter, and Pittsburgh Steelers scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. So for the entirety of the game, the Pittsburgh Steelers were controlling it, which is interesting given just what we've seen from the Colts this entire season and how inconsistent the Steelers have been this entire season. So I'm wondering just your thoughts on this game, because I'm still trying to figure out, how did the Colts lose this game against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers that has been very rocky this entire year?
You want to know how they lost?
How?
I got one word for you: turnovers. Turnovers absolutely demolished the Colts this game. Daniel Jones he fumbled 3 times, lost 2 of them. He threw 3 interceptions, and Josh Downs also fumbled and lost a fumble. So you give them 6 takeaways and see how many wins you get in the NFL. It don't matter who you playing. You give the other team the ball 6 times in a single game, the score's going to look how it looks. I'm surprised it don't even look worse. That just goes to show how inept the Steelers' offense is. You managed only 27 points off 6 turnovers. And so, yeah, that's what it is. You had Daniel Jones throwing 50 passes throughout the game. Oh, yes, he's going to give the ball away. That's never been Daniel Jones's game. You could have run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. He had 14 carries for only 45 yards, his worst game of the season, hands down. I mean, what did they expect to happen? I don't know. The Steelers just came out hot this game. It is. I think this was one of those any given Sunday games, in the game to show that the Colts bleed. So that's pretty much what happened. What happened? The Steelers, they had a solid game. I guess Aaron Rodgers wasn't bad. He was pretty pedestrian, if you ask me. But they just did enough to win the game. So salute to the Steelers defense, but the Colts they lost this game big time.
I think another thing that you should have mentioned was because you mentioned the turnovers, right? But the other team didn't turn the ball over as much as the Colts. Like they only had one. I think it was a fumble by Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson.
That's about it.
Yep. Won the turnover battle 5-1.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the game. It's the turnover battle, and the Colts, man, 6-1 is crazy. That's insane. So sometimes it just boils down to that because I'm looking at the box score, and it's not like the Steelers ran the ball all that well. It's not like a lot of the guys on the receiving end was getting the ball much. It's just they were able to capitalize on the turnovers. They were able to get good field position on those turnovers, and that was really the game. And so when Daniel Jones is committing turnovers, when you're putting everything on the shoulders of Daniel Jones to get you back in that game, it's going to be problematic because he's never been that quarterback in the first place. And that's why I'm still skeptical a little bit of the Colts, because when the running game isn't working for you, what are you going to do now? And like we saw this past week against the Steelers, they're just not able to overcome. Maybe this is just a small sample size. Maybe this is just only one time this may happen, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this might be a sign. Maybe this is the blueprint how to beat them.
Yeah, that's you can't lose a turnover battle 6-1. 1-1. That is insane.
All right, let's move on real quick. Let's go rapid fire. We got some other games. Ravens versus Dolphins. Lamar Jackson came back. It's good to see Lamar Jackson back. A lot of fantasy owners were happy to see Lamar Jackson back. First game back, and he has 4 touchdown passes. Talk about coming back and playing well on your first game.
That offense is just so much different with Lamar at the helm. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So what was your thoughts on Lamar Jackson's performance and also the Dolphins, if you have any comments on it?
Lamar Jackson, he's just sensational, man. Honestly, they very cool. They could run the table. If Lamar's going to keep playing like this, they could run a table because that offense was so efficient. I know the Dolphins aren't a very good team, but I am surprised that the Ravens defense was able to step up the way they did, because the offense for the Dolphins wasn't really the issue, because they've been putting up a lot of points against these other teams, but not against the Ravens. The Ravens really, the Roquan Smith looked good. He looked like the Roquan Smith we used to. Kyle Hamilton, all those guys. It was a great game for them. But man, Tua is he's just not good. He's not good. He really should not be a starting QB after this year. But you paid him starting QB money, so you're gonna justify putting all that money on the bench? I'd release him. Shoot, at this rate, I don't even want to talk about this. Sorry, the Dolphins stink. It's not even fun to watch. Should have traded Jaden Waddle when you had the chance. You asking for a first round pick plus more? Are you high? The man can barely stay on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, man, salute to Lamar Jackson. You know, I'm a big Lamar Jackson guy. I'm glad that he's back. The game is better when Lamar Jackson is playing football, and hopefully they can get some more wins. It's going to be a large mountain to climb, given just the fact that the Steelers have a pretty big league, especially after they just beat the Colts, which is a tough team to beat. Now they're going to have to really run the table, because that's a huge win by the Steelers.
The Ravens got the Vikings Sunday, which is going to be a tough one.
That's going to be tough.
They got the Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Patriots, Packers, and Steelers to close the season out.
Yeah,
so that week 18 matchup could very much be for a playoff spot.
See, the problem is that there's a few teams that you just named. It's going to be tough for them. The Packers, the
Packers,
Steelers twice,
Steelers, Vikings.
Vikings.
I mean, those really the only 3 losses though. Like they could get 2 on the Bengals.
Oh yeah, they can get 2 on the Bengals, sure, and Browns. Browns
So they
as well.
3-5 right now. I think they could win. They could win.
But you gotta really hope the Steelers just start to fall off. I
I
mean,
think they could split with the
possible.
Steelers.
It's possible that
I
the
feel like
Steelers
you can
fall
get
off.
in the playoffs at what their record would be. Oh wait, 9-8. Ooh,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I don't think that.
You kind of only can afford 2 more losses for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the conference standings right now, and the 7th seed is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Chiefs are the 8th seed. I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
It does look pretty slim.
Let me look at hold on. Before we move on, let me look at the Steelers schedule because I feel like it depends on the Steelers and how they finish. Because the Steelers have the Chargers next. They got Cincinnati, they got Chicago, they got Buffalo. We already mentioned Baltimore. They got Miami, they got Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore again. So Chargers, Buffalo, Baltimore. I'll even throw in Chicago because that's not going to be a layup. Detroit, Baltimore. It's like 5 games.
The Steelers got a harder schedule.
They do. I think they have a harder schedule, but remember last year, I think they had a pretty good record for like half of the season, if I'm not mistaken, and then they fell off of a cliff. I think they still made the playoffs as a wild card, if I'm not mistaken, or they just or did they
I think they just got in and got whooped by the Ravens.
Yeah, I think they were like 10-7 or something like that, and they got cooked in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Ravens have to beat the Steelers twice. You gotta beat them twice. I don't see it though. I don't see it. They always split with them. I don't see it.
Yeah, they always split. It's always some AFC North foolishness that happens.
Yeah, I don't see it. All right, let's move on real quick. Let's go to the other games. Cowboys versus Cardinals. Do you have any thoughts on this game at all?
That was such an embarrassing performance. Offensively, we got whooped. The offensive line got spanked that entire game. I think Dak was pressured on upper 40 percentile of his dropbacks, which is unacceptable. You spent all this draft capital on this offensive line, and this is the performance they putting up against. They let Walter Nolan go out there and look like freaking Warren Sapp. It was ridiculous, man. CeeDee Lamb, oh boy. Let me tell you something. CeeDee Lamb is a phenomenal talent. I still stand by him being a top 5 wide receiver in the league at worst, but boy, did he phone it in last night. I mean, where was the effort? Where was the tenacity? He's not coming back to the ball with urgency. He's letting Will Johnson, who he beat on a route, come back to the ball before him. I mean, where's the heart? I hate when he has these weird games like that because, like, dude, you have all the talent in the freaking world. You can get open at will against pretty much anybody. And this is the type of performance you want to put up when you have a certified dog on the other side of you in George Pickens. That's the effort you give? You want to pouting on the sideline, moping, and you want to start glazing Marvin Harrison Jr. because he made your teammate hit the earth? Are you crazy? This stuff I be talking about, this team has a problem. We have too many unserious individuals. Like, and then defense going, all right, I don't really got to talk about the defense going to be trash and whatever. Hopefully Quinnen Williams can instill some heart in these dudes because boy, oh boy. Oh, I ain't done with the Deron Bland. Are you serious, my brother? We paying you how much money to go out there and let Marvin Harrison Jr., who people didn't even know he could catch the ball earlier in this, you let him go out there and have that kind of night on you? You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. Freaking Kenneth Murray, you may be the worst linebacker in the league. You're terrible. I don't even know why you're still employed. You're horrible. That secondary was so bad last night. I couldn't believe it was dudes converting on 3rd and 14 and more. Like, what is going on? Dudes is running wide open, no resistance. Trey McBride got whatever he want. Marv got whatever. Michael Wilson had a 50-yard bomb first play out of the half. Like, what? Matt Eberflus, I don't know. What do y'all do at practice? Are y'all doing coloring books or something? There's no way y'all practicing football, because the way y'all come out here and look every week is disgraceful. The D-line played a solid game. We had a couple sacks. Donovan Zaraku flashed. Jadeveon Clowney had a sack. Everybody else, they're not holding up their end of the bargain. That was just a disaster. I had a feeling they was going to come in and start trolling like that too. Oh my goodness. Let me get on this offense. Listen, Dak Prescott, I'm so sorry for what these bums have sold you like this to this point. They're going to bring up you throwing the interception where the game was completely out of reach, but they're not going to mention how the receivers had 4 drops and 4 fumbles. You put the ball on the ground 4 times, and you expect to win with this? I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Jake Ferguson, bro, I don't care what them touchdown numbers looking like, buddy. You're not that guy anymore. Luke Schoonmaker, you shouldn't even be playing. I don't know how you dropped that easy pass. So, Kevontae Turpin, you're a return specialist. I don't even know why he's getting wide receiver snaps at this point. Put Flournoy out there. It is ridiculous, man. I'm so sick of these clowns. I hope they mail it in for the rest of the season. Get a higher pick, because this season is done. You're 3-5-1. You ain't winning no freaking. You ain't getting no playoffs. You'd have to do some ungodly running the table to even get. Whatever, man. I'm done with this team. Good trades though today. That's a step in the right direction. But this season is Jover.
You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. I think we could put a bow on that. Let's move on to the other games. Seahawks versus Commanders. My gosh.
Speaking of seasons being over.
Bow, belt to you know what. 38-10. Sam Darnold was looking elite out there.
He only completed his first 17 passes.
He only missed 3 completions. He only had 3 incompletions that entire game. 330 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He had that 1 interception, but man, 141 passer rating. Are you serious? The running game wasn't even good, but it didn't matter because JSN was balling. Other guys, Cody White was balling. Like these dudes, bro, man, the Commanders are cooked. You talk about your team is cooked. The Commanders are cooked. Jaden Daniels went out with an injury late in the game. Oh my God, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, what are you doing? And Terry McLaurin's always hurt for whatever reason. Yeah, the season's over for the Commanders. Like, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I knew they were going to regress, but not like this. I thought at least Jaden Daniels was going to be healthy the entire year. Terry McLaurin was going to be healthy the entire year. But I thought that the defense was going to get exposed, which it still is getting exposed. But damn, this offense is just horrific. It's sad, man. It's sad. That's all I gotta say.
Out there, that's what it is. And the run game, that Bill Krosky-Merritt guy, that Ja'Cory Crossman, he ain't lived up to none of that hype they was trying to give him. I'm like, bro, he's a 7th round pick. Can we be for real for once? Like, why are we expecting a 7th round pick to come in this zone to be Marshawn Lynch or something? Let's keep it all the way realistic. Cliff, he can only work with what they're giving him. Some of them play calls a little suspect, but I mean, when you got Debo as the number 1 wide receiver, I mean, what can you really expect? And the injuries have absolutely demolished them. I mean, for crying out loud. Terry hurt, Jaden hurt, lost Dorrance Armstrong for the year. They had so many other injuries. I can't even name all of them.
Marshawn Lattimore.
He was trashing. His ACL was gone. They lost Dietrich Wise in the beginning of the season. It's just bad. It's bad. Now Frankie Louvu suspended for next game.
Drop tackle.
Hey man, Detroit gonna put up 50 points on them boys. It's bad. It is bad. It is bad. But Dan Quinn, this is the Dan Quinn I was trying to warn folks about. This is what I was afraid of, because Dan Quinn, he'll have a really good year, And then the next year you'll be like, oh my goodness, what is going on? We saw it in Atlanta, and when he was the head coach. So hey,
Mm-hmm.
we tried to warn y'all Commanders for not to drink too much of the Kool-Aid. Hey, folks talking about they going to the Super Bowl and how since they made the NFC Championship game they was a shoo-in. No, that's not how the NFL works, unfortunately. Yeah, it's bad. Just even if Jaden can come back in 3 to 4 weeks, like I've heard from sources, legit sources, no troll sources, legit sources. I still say shut him down. There's no point. The season is lost.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah,
I don't.
the Seattle Seahawks, they're a good football team, especially on defense, man. Byron Murphy, Boye Mafe, um, they lost Ernest. Ernest Jones got hurt in that game. Hopefully, it might be a little ankle sprain. Hopefully, he's all right. But they got some dudes on that Seahawks team, man. They're very nice. If they could get that run game working effectively, they would be so much more of a threat. But as of right now, you got JSN and the Dream on offense.
And Rashid Shaheed now.
Oh yeah, Rashid Shaheed too. Yeah.
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed now. But this team is underrated. Like, I feel like not a lot of people are talking about just how good the Seahawks team is because they've been really good this year. I know we like to mention the Rams. We like to mention sometimes the Packers, sometimes the Lions, and all these other teams. But the Seahawks, we can't be sleeping on Seahawks, man. They've been really good this year. And putting up 38 points on national TV, prime time against the Commanders.
Easily too. They didn't have to really work too hard for them points.
The Vikings are looking bad every single week. The fact that they let go of Sam Darnold because he has been balling this year.
Clint Kubiak was a good addition for that team.
He
I
has
don't know
been
why the
balling
Saints
this
just
year.
gave up on him. Like, well, because Kellen Moore, new coach, they want to get his staff in. But Clint Kubiak, great addition for them. Mike, is it Mike McDonald? Yeah, Mike McDonald, defensive genius. Man, that was such a good hire for them. Even though I'm not a fan of defensive head coaches, but he got the boys playing.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Let's move on. Let's move on to some other games real quick. Chargers versus Titans. I had the Chargers win this game. The Titans are arguably the worst football team. They don't really do much, so it's no shock to me. It was a close game though, but ultimately the better team prevailed. Not much to really say.
Yeah, Chargers. The Titans were more competitive though, which was good to see. But yeah, be competitive but keep losing. The tank motto.
Patriots versus Falcons. It looked like the Falcons were potentially going to win this game, but the Patriots, better team prevailed. The better quarterback prevailed. Drake made 19 for 29, 259 passing, 2 touchdowns. One interception, which you don't want, but hey, ultimately they won the game. And yeah, man, like the Falcons, it just seems like it's going downhill. A once promising season is now 3-5.
And it's simply because the defense is really good. They had like 6 sacks this game. And that's one thing. Drake May, you can't be taking this many sacks, man. I'm not like your pressure to sack ratio is probably, I think it's like the worst in the league right now, or at least the worst from the 2024 draft class. You need to get that under control. But also your offensive line got a block for you. Will Campbell can only do so much by himself at that left tackle position. But as far as the Falcons go, they just, I don't know, man. Drake London had 3 TDs, which is crazy. Nice hat trick. He would have made the salute segment if they would have won. But Parker Romo sold them bad. You got rid of Younghoe Koo for another kicker to sell to lose all the game. That is some crazy irony. And Michael Penix, I don't see it with Michael Penix. I ain't gonna lie. I might be off the train with Michael Penix because
Funny because he
I
had 3
just don't see it.
TDs.
Yeah,
But
he had 3
if you
TDs.
watch the
Like
film,
watch the game. It was like, okay, what in the world is going on here? But the run game. That's the reason why they lost. They couldn't get the run game going. Bijan only had 46 yards on 12 carries. Can't do nothing with that. Can't do nothing with that at all.
Yeah.
But he was the second leading receiver, which is not ideal from your running back. But look this. He had 8 receptions for 50 yards. Like, why are we checking it down that much? Why is like Drake London had 9 receptions on 14 targets? Like, do y'all not have any other players on offense? What is this play calling, Zach Robinson? You came down to the field because they wanted to see you actually like, okay, we need you on the field because this offense looking shaky, and it looks the same.
It's bad in ATL yet again. It just seems like they can never get anything right, even when you get rid
Letting the
of.
freaking Panthers up the score on you. They had 1 year to get this thing right.
Mm, yep, yep. Let's move on. Let's go to what other games we got? What other games?
Bears and
Bears versus
Bengals.
Bengals. Oh my god.
This was a crazy game. I mean,
Bengals, come on, bro. Y'all had the game in the bag, and the defense
they needed one stop.
sold. I think they gave up like a huge. It was like a play to Colston
It
Loveland
was a
where he
Coastal
broke a
Loveland.
tackle
Yep.
and he gained like an extra maybe 20 or 30 yards, and that was the game right
He
there.
scored a touchdown, actually.
He scored a touchdown. Like,
It was a
bro,
40-yard touchdown, I believe.
like how, bro? I ain't gonna
That's
lie.
58 yards.
I think it was Chase Brown after the game who was
Yeah.
being interviewed by a reporter, and he was pissed. I would have been pissed too. Like how do you let that happen, bro? You gave up 47 points. We scored 42 points, and y'all can't get one stop at the end of the game. We're up 42-41. They have less than a minute remaining. It's Caleb Williams of all quarterbacks, and you just let him go down the field easily and score a TD? Are you absolutely crazy? Oh my god, somebody got to get fired, bro. Like that is ridiculous. I was watching that and I was just so mad. And I'm not even a Bengals fan. I'm a Bears hater. It blows my mind. Like, how do you let that happen, bro?
That is malpractice. It really is. Defense really. Whew. That defense. The Bengals, Cowboys, and the Redskins. I mean, Commanders. The 3 worst defenses in the league, hands down. That is. Ooh, I'd
They
be
tried
mad
to
too if I was
blame.
Chase Brown.
They tried to blame Lou Anarumo for the bad defense. Turns out they just don't have the players.
Nope.
Simple.
Only
We give
bright
up.
spot on that defense is DJ Turner. Other than that, everybody else, basura. Shamar Stewart, oh goodness, you did all that holding out, and this is the performances you putting up.
Yes, it's not looking too good in Cincinnati right now. They need to just tank, just tank for a number one draft pick because right now this team, bro, it's just lopsided. Even with Joe Flacco putting up 40 points, it doesn't matter when your defense giving up 47. It's just ridiculous, man. The Bears just keep skating by. They keep getting very fortunate on some of these games, and they're 5-3. That's all right though. It's a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. We gonna see eventually something's gonna crack. It's just not right now. But we're gonna wait. They got the same record as the Lions, and they have the better. They have a. They have pretty much the same record as the Chiefs, like with one less loss. It's ridiculous, man. I cannot believe this Bears team is skating by this. Anywho, let's move on. 49ers versus Giants. No surprise. I had the 49ers win this game. It doesn't matter if it's Mac Jones or if it's Brock Purdy. They're going to win the game. And Christian McCaffrey had a really good game. He had 28 carries for 106 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 receptions, 67 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. Yeah, the Giants just suck, man. They just suck. 2-7. It's nothing really much to
I'm
say.
surprised they wasn't sellers at the deadline.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't understand it, but Brian Dable, he's trying to compete for his job. I don't see him succeeding in that.
You see that? You see that tweet about the newspaper article that got published? Brian Dable is out of there.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully Joe Swain is out of there too.
He hopefully they might do that weird thing where they fire the head coach but not the GM. like they should have fired Joe Shane however many years ago, but whatever.
Yeah, Giants are just a lost cause, man. Let's move on. What other games? So we got Jacksonville versus Raiders. Jacksonville almost lost this game. Raiders, it looked like the Raiders were going to win this game. They went to overtime, but Jacksonville was able to prevail. And Geno Smith actually had a pretty good game. He had 4 touchdown passes. He had 1 interception. He always has to have that at least 1 turnover. It's just Geno. You always have to get that 1 turnover out the way. The running game wasn't all that effective. Ashton Genty only had 42 yards rushing. Mainly, the protection, the run blocking is always garbage. But he did have 47 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Brock Bowers had himself a day, man. 12 receptions, 127 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Man, this dude is
made
a
the segment
nature.
for show.
Freaking nature. And on the other end, Trevor Lawrence, he was Trevor Lawrence. I mean, 23 for 34 passes. Yeah, mid, 1 interception. So yeah,
how much money that
really
man get to be putting up these kind of performances?
Over $200 million, I think it was. So it is what it is, man. I got nothing much to say on this matter.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of this game. Jaguars are just not a fun team to watch in my eyes.
They're 5-3 though.
Fake is 5-3.
5-3.
They're literally they're the Bears of the AFC. It's 5-3 is so fake.
That's true. Rams versus Saints. We all know the Rams were going to beat the Saints. 34-10. They were dominant this game. If I have to pick a team to come out of the NFC right now, I'll probably go with the Rams, just given how good their offense is and their defensive front is. So the Rams, to me, look like the best team in the NFC. But again, week by week basis, you never know with a lot of these teams. The Rams might lose the next week to a bottom tier team. Who knows? But if I have to pick a team right now, I think the Rams are probably the most complete team in the NFC right now. Matthew Stafford has been playing amazing football this year. After the injury scare coming into the season, this dude was 24 for 32 passing, 281 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Kyron Williams actually ran the ball very effectively, 114 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Puka Nacua had 94 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Devontae Adams had 2 touchdowns. Tyler Shuck, we don't even need to talk about him. We can move on. We can move on.
Bench Spencer Rattler for that. Okay.
Yeah. And I think there's one more game. We have Broncos versus Texans. Broncos skate by in a nail biter. Broncos were able to beat the Texans 18-15. The Texans are 3-5. Bo Nix, not all that good. 18 for 37 passing, 173 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Just not a pretty performance by that offense. Nope. I think CJ Stroud got hurt this game.
Concussed,
yeah. Davis Mills came in, threw 30 passes. So
Stroud would have won that game if he played, but.
Yeah, it was an ugly game, very ugly game. But I'm still not sold on Bo Nix. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him. So yeah. Anywho, all right, that'll do it for week 9. Let's move on to the final segment. Brian, who are you saluting this week for week 9 of the NFL season?
All right, week 9 salute segment. We got 3, I believe, new players on this week's segment. We got number 1, Cal Monangai, Chicago Bears getting that shootout win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Had 176 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. It filled in nicely for injured DeAndre Swift. 2 on the list, we got Sam Darnold, Seattle Seahawks. Prime time Monday night against the sorry Commanders. He completed his first 17 passes into the game with only 3 incompletions, 333 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And last on the list, we have Christian McCaffrey. He had 106 yards on the ground, 67 yards in the air, and he had a TD on both sides. And I have some honorable mentions for you. We got Rico Dowdle of the Carolina Panthers. I believe he had 130 yards. Matthew Stafford had 4 touchdowns. Lamar had 4 touchdowns. I mean, it was a lot of good performances this week, but we only got to condense it to 3. or 4th, depending on what week it is. So to recap, Cal Monungai, Sam Darnold, and CMC, salute.
You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting week.
It
Interesting
was.
week in itself. You could have gone with Matthew Stafford, but they're playing the Saints, so gotta think about that. But good list. I like it, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials, and we will see you guys on the next episode of the Courtside podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.
Salute.
All right.